welcome back to the Project Gen X podcast. I am one of your hosts, Alan Smith, along with...
I'm the other guy, Big Dave.
And on this episode of the podcast, we are going to be talking about the 1993 movie True Romance. Dave is not a fan.
I saw it once in the theater. I remember why I only saw it once, having to watch it again for this episode of the podcast.
Well, I have seen this movie many times.
I will say this. For having such a murderer's row of actors in the movie, I can't believe how bad this movie actually is.
For those of you who have not seen the movie, this is who is Christian Slater, Patricia Arquette, Dennis Hopper, Val Kilmer, Gary Oldman, Brad Pitt, Christopher Walken, Bronson Pinchot, Samuel L. Jackson, Michael Rappaport, Saul Rubinek, James Gandolfini.
Yep.
Hold on, I'm missing some people here. Chris Penn, Tom Sizemore.
Yep. Patrick John Hurley.
Hold on. What's his name? Eric Allen Kramer is in it. I mean, it's one of those movies where you just go down, and of course there's a bunch of other, oh, hey, it's that person. It's got some very memorable performances.
Yes.
Most notably Christopher Walken and Dennis Hopper, who have one scene. Christopher Walken's in one scene in this movie.
Yeah. And
it's probably the most notable one of the movie. It's one we were not going to discuss very much because if you've seen it, you know why.
Because Quinten Tarantino.
Yeah, Quinten Tarantino wrote this. This was a script. Okay, so Quinten Tarantino basically sold this script in order to get Reservoir Dogs funded. So this is a script by Quinten Tarantino. It is not directed by Quinten Tarantino. It is directed by Tony Scott.
Yeah. It
is a very Tony Scott movie.
It is.
It's funny because like Brad Pitt is in here. This is Brad Pitt this is after Thelma and Louise, but before he became Brad Pitt.
Yeah.
And so he literally is in 2 scenes, I think, or something like that.
No, it's like
2 or 3. He's one of Christian Slater's roommates who's always
not Christian Slater.
Oh, it's
Dick.
No, it's
Michael Rappaport.
Michael Rappaport's roommates who is just stoned all the time. Like every time you see him, he's like hitting the bong, man.
He's major stoner.
Yeah. But it's kind of one of those that after Brad Pitt became a thing, it's like, oh yeah, he was in this other movie. It was not a box office success.
That's an understatement.
Yeah, and it's interesting. I guess it's probably most notable for its cast than it is anything else.
Yeah, it's like, wow, this is such a great cast. Why does the movie suck so bad?
I disagree. I think the movie's it's very much an early Tarantino script. Okay, even though he didn't direct it, but it's hell, the Alabama. Patricia Arquette's character is mentioned in Reservoir Dogs.
Yeah.
So that was kind of one of those things that you would find in those early where they would talk about different people.
Yeah, they would talk about the different characters from the different movies in the Quentin-verse.
Yeah, and that still goes on a little bit in his stuff, but not as much as it did back then. There was always an Elvis reference, which Val Kilmer plays Elvis in this, which you never see him. You only see him out of focus in the background.
And from behind.
And a lot of times. And it's just him, it's Christian Slater's character is obsessed with Elvis. And
honestly, I think what you have are 2 sociopaths.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely. Run into each other and start dating.
Absolutely. And
Christian his character should be on heavy medication and probably in a hospital somewhere.
He's very obsessive. We'll put it that way.
Yeah.
That is a...
there's a very, very obvious Marilyn Monroe reference at the beginning of this with what's her name, who also played Darla's mother in The Crow.
Oh, yeah.
I can't think of her name right now.
Yeah.
There's Sonny Chiba references in this.
Yeah, again, it's a very Quentin Tarantino
movie,
but through the lens of quite literally through the lens of Tony Scott, and
who I don't think quite got it.
I don't know, and that's the thing is that it's a little too.
It's not over the top enough, which is saying something for Tony Scott a little bit.
Tony Scott has got a very distinctive style.
Yeah.
And that does not work with a Quentin Tarantino script.
It's got to be.
It's a little too sunny.
It's almost got to be more schizophrenic.
Yeah. It's just the way that this is shot. Even I mean, because I know that a good chunk of it takes place in L.A. In California,
and Detroit.
Yeah, it starts in Detroit, but then it winds up in L.A. And it's one of those where it's like it's very L.A. like, and it's a little too L.A. for a Quentin.
Yeah,
Let's kind of go through. So it starts off with.
Go ahead, because I really don't have a whole lot to say about this movie.
I thought I was going to have more to say about it.
Like I said, I think we're going to be lucky to get 20 minutes out of this episode.
I think we'll be all right because we can tie it back in. So
good luck.
Clarence is sitting in a bar talking to. I think he's a random guy.
No, it's to the Marilyn Monroe character.
Is that who he's talking to?
Yeah, that's who he's talking to.
Okay. That's right.
I can't think of her name right. The actress's her name right now, but she plays Darla's mother in The Crow.
Yeah, when he's approached by Alabama.
Yeah,
and they hit it off. And
no. He invites the Marilyn Monroe character in the bar to go see these 3 movies, and she turns him down flat. And he goes to the movie by himself, and that's where Alabama.
That's where he meets out. That's right. Yeah.
Did you watch this?
Yeah, but I was doing other stuff while I was watching it. So
yeah, I guess I'm the only one who did
again.
Homework
I have seen this movie multiple times. I own it, and it just kind of one of those things where it's like, sometimes when you've seen a movie so many times, you kind of like you'll sit there and you'll watch it, but you're really not paying attention to it so much, and with everything else, I was thinking about some other stuff, and it was just like
she goes in, she dumps her popcorn, she jumps the seat, she snuggles in next to him, asks him about the movie. They end up going to get pie afterwards. Of course, then there's typical Quentin Tarantino banter between the two.
Yeah.
And then he invites her back to work at the comic store, and there's typical Quentin Tarantino banter between the two. And then they go back to his apartment, and there's banter, and then sex, and then more banter, and she goes, "Oh, by the way, I'm a call girl, and your boss bought me for you for your birthday."
Right. But she fell in love with him.
Yeah.
That's what she says, And so he decides they're going to run off together. And
go to the courthouse, get married.
Go to the courthouse, get married, and then he's got to, but her pimp's not going to let her go. So he goes, Gary Oldman, man.
I love this guy. Gary Oldman is like one of the greatest actors ever.
If nothing else you have to say about Gary Oldman, he will throw himself into a role.
Yeah, he will.
And this character in here, this pimp that he plays, Drexel is just not at all what you would expect from a Gary Oldman performance.
No. If you could cut the scenes with Drexel out of it and the scenes with Walken out of it and just watch those, this would be okay.
Yeah, they're the highlights, quite honestly.
Yeah.
They really are. I don't even know how to talk about this. Because there's so much you just can't talk about. Also, the fact if you haven't seen the movie, you have to see it because it's kind of one of those like this actually exists. Like this exists,
and it hasn't been canceled. Why is this movie not being canceled?
That too, but also just the fact of this actually exists. Okay, only in the mind of Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah.
So he goes. He winds
up. The fact that somebody else was willing to pick it up and run with it.
Yeah, and so he winds up killing Drexel and then taking what he thinks is money.
Well, he goes over there to get Alabama
all of her stuff. Right.
I need her stuff, and Elvis basically talks him into killing the guy.
Right. I love that Elvis is like his conscience in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
It's like he's giving him advice on everything.
And he's yelling at the girls, get a bag and get Alabama's stuff together.
Right.
And in the meantime, he ends up killing Drexel and his right-hand man, and he grabs his suitcase and he runs out. And when Alabama opens the suitcase back up at the apartment, it's not her stuff.
A lot of cocaine.
It's probably 16 kilos of coke.
It's a whole lot of cocaine.
And as they mentioned in the movie, uncut cocaine.
Yes, it is.
That belongs to the mob boss of Detroit.
Yes, and it was Christopher Walken. And so they decide to go on the run. He's going to go to L.A. because he's got a buddy who's an actor out there. Or he's not an actor. He's a...
no, but Dick,
that's right. Yeah,
Dick
Dick's
an actor.
That's right.
He's an inspiring actor because he's trying to get a part on T.J. Hooker.
Right,
at the moment.
right. T.J. Hooker. I love that T.J. Hooker reference there.
Yeah, because he's going to be on the hood of the car. William Shatner's going to be on the hood of the car, and I've got to try to get him off the hook of the car. It's going to be great.
Michael Rappaport, man. He's one of those guys that, like, it's hit or miss with him. Like, sometimes he'll show up in something like, okay, this is good. Then other times he'll show up and it's like, no. Like Beautiful Girls. I thought he was wonderful in Beautiful Girls.
Talking about this movie again?
Yes, because that's I know we already talked about it, but he was great in that movie. Just as that, your loser buddy.
That one monologue.
Yes. Yeah.
That one monologue.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
But, also he's just kind of a dirtbag on it.
Yeah.
It is what it is. Anyway, but yeah, so he goes, his buddy in L.A., and of course he tells his dad that he's leaving, who's
an ex-cop.
Yeah.
Working as a security guard at a racetrack.
That's
Hopper.
Dennis Hopper. Hopper's only in 2 scenes in this.
Yeah.
And
he gets brutally murdered.
Yeah. And so
after using some very inflammatory language towards a certain sect of people.
There is a reason for all that, though.
For actually a couple of sects of people.
Yeah. But there's a reason that he does all that, is because he's trying to make them kill him so that he won't give up where Clarence and Alabama have run off to. But unfortunately, even
though he knows he has the address magnetized
on the refrigerator, and that's where they get that from.
Brilliant.
But so they run off to L.A. and so
in a purple Cadillac.
Of course it was. And in the meantime, Bronson Pinchot's character, he's the one that's going to actually make the drug deal, right?
Yeah, between him and his producer.
Which the producer is thinly veiled Oliver Stone.
Yes. Yeah, so thin you can read a newspaper.
Yeah, because talking about making a Vietnam movie is called Coming Home in a Body Bag, and it's like...
And he's in, that one's already out.
Yeah.
Everybody loves it, and he's going to talk about making the second one.
Right.
By the way, what's the title for the second one? I think they're looking at Body Bag 2.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, it's very original.
Very thinly veiled Oliver Stone.
Yeah.
Very thinly veiled Oliver Stone. And so he's supposed to make this deal, but then he gets pulled over
in his boss's Porsche.
Yep. Being serviced by his
mistress, girlfriend, person,
and he tries to get her to hide the coke that he's got on him, and she throws it back in his face.
The samples Ziploc baggie, and she smacks it, and it blows up in his face.
Yep.
So the cop walks up to this convertible Porsche,
just covered in coke,
and it looks like it has Peruvian snowed all over the car.
So now he's got to be an informant for the cops.
Yeah, he's got to wear a wire.
Yeah, and I got to say, Bronson Pinchot plays this role really well.
Yes, he does.
This was, he definitely, that Weasley, I'm just trying to get out of here. Just tell me what I got to do so I don't have. I'm not gonna get in
hard
trouble,
not to see him as Balky.
Yeah, but he does good in this.
Yeah, he really does. Yeah,
and then we wind up with some of the most Quentin Tarantino stuff to ever happen.
Well, you've got James Gandolfini, who's the right-hand man for Christopher Walken's guy. Runs down Alabama at the hotel room.
Beats the crap out of her.
And then finds the coke in a suitcase under the bed. He goes, "You didn't leave it under the bed." Mm-hmm. I didn't even think to look under the bed. I didn't look under the bed. And I forget who. She kills him with a shotgun.
Yep. Yeah, she's
But after...
I think sociopath is a good... Yeah, they're both sociopaths, absolutely, you know.
But not before James Gandolfini's character, I mean, absolutely beats the tar out of her.
Absolutely. It's really hard to watch, to be honest. It's again, not what I was expecting from a Tony Scott movie, you know. It just... Again, and it's in vibrant colors is on top of it all. That's the thing I keep saying about this movie. This movie is got so much sunshine to it, you know. And I say that not just, I mean, because there's, again, it's in LA, so there's a lot of sunlight, but I'm talking about the way that this movie is shot. It is very bright, a lot of bright colors, lots of, you know, just, it's very vibrant visually for having such a dark premise to it all, you know.
Then again, so was Pulp Fiction.
Kinda, but not. You know, I mean, like there are a lot of scenes in Pulp Fiction that are night scenes or that take place indoors where it's kind of low light and that kind of stuff. You know, there's a lot of light.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of light. So yeah, it's really jarring sometimes. To see, you know. So anyway, they set up this whole drug deal and everything, and then of course it just goes sideways. You wind up with
you get the cops show up.
The cops show up. You get the enforcers show up.
You get the mobsters show up from the other end of the hotel room, because the hotel suite's got three main doors in it, because you've got the two hallway doors and then you've got the sliding glass door that goes out to the pool area. So you've got the cops coming in one end and the pool area, and you've got the mob enforcers coming in the other end,
and then you
from
have
the hallway
security there,
then you've got fake Oliver Stone security there, who's not willing to give up their Uzis to the cops.
And then of course you have Clarence in Alabama. And it's like,
and the producer in the middle of it.
Yeah, and it's just it's this huge Mexican standoff. I mean, it's just this, you know, and then it just devolves.
Somebody pulls a trigger and it goes from there.
It just goes and everybody dies, pretty much.
Clarence gets shot in the eye.
Yeah. I've always had a problem with this.
Yeah.
He gets shot in the eye and lives.
Yeah.
Which it can happen, I'm sure. I mean, I'm sure, but it's still kind of one of those.
Unless it was like a graze.
Generally, when you see somebody get shot in the eye, that's not good.
But basically, the only ones that survive are Clarence and
Alabama,
and I was honestly expecting Steve Miller Band to show up with Take the Money and Run at that point.
Yeah, because they grab the money and run.
Yeah,
and then his buddy makes it out too, doesn't he?
Yeah.
That's about it.
Yeah.
Like the three of them are about the only people that make it out alive. And I mean, everybody dies. I mean, it's just a hail of gunfire. I mean, just on.
And then they take off to Mexico with the money and have a kid and happily ever after.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure the kid grew up to be some kind of mass murderer or serial killer or something like that.
Yeah, and again, it's like
end of story. Are we at 25 minutes?
We're almost at 20 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah. Not a whole lot to say about this movie. It's not that great of a movie.
It's not as good as I remembered it being. Okay, I'll admit that.
But it was an anniversary movie.
It's celebrating its 30th this month or this year. I can't remember if it was September or October that it came out.
Yeah.
It might have been August. I don't know. I just remember seeing it on the thing. I was like, oh yeah, let's talk about that. And then, as what happens a lot of times with these episodes, where I'm like, yeah, let's talk about that. And then when we get in and start talking about it, it's like, I don't really have a whole lot to say about it.
No, it's not that great of a movie.
I did enjoy the movie more than you did.
I remember seeing it once, and you mentioned it. I was like, yeah, okay, we can do that. That that should be a pretty good episode. And I watched it again. I was like, oh right. Well, I remember why I don't like this movie.
It's one of okay, so Reservoir Dogs came out in 92. Okay.
Yeah.
And then,
which is a good movie.
Yeah, it is. And then that because
if only just for the Stephen Wright part.
Yeah.
You never even see Stephen Wright.
You have it was such a it made such a splash.
Yeah.
Especially for being an indie film, and everybody's like, oh, wow. And like I said, Tarantino had sold this script.
Yeah. To get the financing.
For it. So now all of a sudden the studio's like, hey, we've got this Tarantino script and people are really like Reservoir Dogs, so let's make it. And it's not the same.
No.
It's completely not the same. It's kind of like funny because Oliver Stone, the Natural Born Killers.
Yes.
Tarantino did not write the script for it, but he did come up with the story. Like that was it, his fingers are on that.
Yeah.
And
which I remember seeing that in the theater.
Yeah, I did too. I've watched it a few years ago. I was like, man, it's very of its time, but it holds up.
That was a first date movie for me.
Was it a last date movie?
Yes, it was. Yes, it was. We did not have any similar interests.
Yeah, that's but again, it was one of those.
In fact, that was a Safaris and
oh wow, okay,
first movie date.
Nice.
Yeah. She was cute, but it just no.
Yeah, well,
if your date doesn't enjoy Natural Born Killers, I mean, it's just not gonna work out.
But this was also at a time when like movie studios were really starting to embrace like really violent movies. Like
yeah,
in the early you got to remember that in the early 90s. Like you think about movies like Total Recall.
Yeah.
Think about how violent that movie was. Of course, I think it really kind of got kicked off with, which again was another Paul Verhoeven movie, was when RoboCop came out in '88.
Yes.
Where it was wow, this is a hyper violent. And then, you started seeing, you get Reservoir Dogs, you get this movie, you get, of course, you get Pulp Fiction, a little later.
Natural Born
Killers, just you can go down.
Strange Days.
That was later.
Was that later?
Yeah. But it was still one of those things where you start going down the line of like all these movies that are just like, wow, and of course I'm trying to think of other ones off the top of my head that, and then you get all the people who are the imitators of Quentin Tarantino, and you get movies like Love in a 45 or, what's some of the other ones? He produced a movie called Killing Zoe that Eric Stoltz, and it wasn't one of his scripts, but he produced it, and it was another one of those. It was a heist movie that goes sideways.
Yeah,
and you just started seeing a whole lot of that stuff, just bang, 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 all of a sudden. One of my favorite from the mid '90s. That's another one of those that. If you've seen it, you know what it is, and if you haven't, you probably shouldn't watch it. Is the Doom Generation?
Yeah, I haven't seen that one.
Yeah, it's an interesting movie, and then it had a kind of a sequel called Nowhere, which is even harder to watch. But that also kind of
anybody of note in either one of those.
Yeah, Rose McGowan was in.
Well, there you go.
Doom Generation. And then when you got to Nowhere, she's in it again, but then it had a bunch of cameos, like Shannon Doherty's got a cameo in it, and God, I'm trying to think who. Christina Applegate's got a cameo. There's a whole bunch of cameos. I mean, like where it's just like these little like, oh look, here's this Perry Farrell. It's got cameos in both of them, okay. And it's the guy that was in both of them also, James Duvall.
Yeah,
he was in those, and also the guy that was in Jonathan. He was the lead singer in The Wonders in That Thing You Do.
Oh,
who married Christina Applegate.
Yeah,
but he was in it, and it's just this weird like Gen X road movie of violence and drugs and sex and weird situations, and you just but it all kind of started. It was that whole Reservoir Dogs, and then True Romance, and then ultimately when Pulp Fiction came out, then everybody's like, "Oh, this is the movie style we have to do now."
Yeah,
and it's like
Quentin Tarantino's getting all the money. We got to make a movie like him. I know.
And there were so many of those knockoffs that came
imitators.
out. Yeah,
Well, I mean,
none of them were that good.
I mean, that's the way it is with the film and music industry. Mm-hmm. They see something that's new that comes out that catches the attention of the nation, and then they've got to copy it and beat it into the ground.
It's kind of like
the poor dead horse.
It's not the same thing. Well, a couple of examples. Harry Potter came out and was really big. Mm-hmm. So then all of a sudden, all of these, all right, well, we got to start looking at, all these other stuff like that.
What it is, you had Harry Potter come out, and then the movie producers started looking at all the young adult books.
Twilight was huge. And
the Rick Riordan series.
Yeah.
With Percy Jackson and all that. Which the Percy Jackson books
was one of them.
My wife's cousin turned us on to those, and we read them for the fun of them. The Percy Jackson books aren't that bad.
People that I know who have read those books said that they were much better than anything that was ever put on screen.
Yeah.
No. Same thing happened.
The movies did not do them justice.
The same thing happened with Lord of the Rings being so big, and then when they started doing the Chronicles of Narnia, and then they tried to do the Golden Compass, and all that stuff, and it was like, you had all these imitators, that kind of came on, because like the Twilight, and then all of a sudden you got the Hunger Games, and you got the what was the other one? The
Maze Runner.
There was Maze Runner, and then there was another. It was like I don't even remember what it was now. But they all failed.
Yeah,
they didn't do as well as Hunger Games aside. Hunger Games is pretty big, But it's funny. You see this every decade or so. There's something that'll be big, and then they're like, "Oh, well, we can,
we gotta monetize all of this quick, hurry." And
I know this episode did not turn out the way that I was expecting.
I told you this was going to happen. I told you before we started this was going to happen. You didn't believe me.
I thought for sure that we could stretch this into an hour.
No. So let's talk about what other TV shows you've been watching.
I haven't really. I really haven't. I mean, I take that back. I've been watching on Vice. They have, they had Dark Side of the Ring, and then they had Dark Side of Football and Dark Side of the 90s. They're doing Dark Side of the 2000s now.
Okay,
and that's been interesting so far. They did one episode about as we're recording this, because it's still an ongoing thing. And matter of fact, Dark Side of Comedy is getting ready to come back, and those were pretty good last year when they did those. But they did one about John and Kate plus 8, and that whole mess.
Okay,
I don't know if you followed any of that. Where one of the kids, and one of the kids is completely doesn't talk to her anymore at all. There was a whole situation there, and they did a 2-part episode, probably the best one of all of them they've done. They did a 2-part episode about. One of them was about Howard Stern, and one of them was about Opie and Anthony.
Okay.
About the, shock jocks, and all that kind of stuff. And that was pretty interesting.
What? They didn't talk about the Zoo Crew?
Yeah. No. But it's funny because, Jackie Martling, the joke man.
Yeah.
They interviewed him. They interviewed Stuttering John. They interviewed...
Beetlejuice?
No. I don't think he's around anymore, is he?
I don't know.
They interviewed, I can't remember the guy's name. He was an intern for them for 6 years. I mean, he was on there for a long time.
The curly head guy?
Yeah, I think.
And I can't remember his name.
And it's
he was
funny.
The guy that he would bring the guest into the...
Yeah, a lot. Yeah. But, of course they got into a lot of the stuff that Stern did on the radio, that would never fly today. But it's funny because all of those guys, Jackie Martling didn't really have anything bad to say about Howard Stern, but he didn't really have anything good to say about him either. You know, it was kind of but Stuttering John and the intern both were just no, this is what I didn't know. Do you know what Stuttering John did after he left the Howard Stern show?
No.
He was I think he might still be, I don't know, but he's the announcer on the Jimmy Kimmel show.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. You sure that's right?
It was Jay Leno. I take it back.
It was Jay Leno.
It was Jay Leno's show that
he was the announcer for Jay Leno.
He was an announcer for Jay Leno. That's what it was. And he talked about how he was on Stern's show forever, and he was making $30,000 a year. That was it.
Wow.
Yeah. And he said that when he left and he went to Leno, he was making six figures all of a sudden, kind of thing. And that was, and also the whole thing with the intern guy, like he legitimately didn't get paid for like 3 years or something like that. He was just, they were using him as an intern. And then when they finally did bring him on, he was making like 30, 40 grand or something like that. Yeah. Actually, I think it was less than that. And it was kind of one of those things they were all talking about, like, and then of course, like when Stuttering John left, like they showed the last, when he was on there, and basically it was Howard Stern saying, yeah, you wouldn't be anything if it wasn't for me. Just like basically just writing him off of like, fine.
Everybody knows that Stern's a piece of crap.
Well, what's funny is that Martland, even before this, I had heard him. He was interviewed on another podcast I listened to, because there's a documentary out about him. And again, he didn't, and all these guys have been gone for a while, like even before the Sirius deal, happened. And Martling talked about how, like, he was doing all right, like financially. He said he was making more money than everybody else, but it was just one of those things where he's like, it was ridiculous how little money everybody was making on that show, especially considering what Howard was making. And
what Robin was making.
Both of them. The two of them were making a ton of money. Everybody else was like, all of them. Like even what's his producer, Baba Booey, was like not making anything remotely what he should have been making.
Let's call it, Howard wouldn't be what he is without Robin.
Oh yeah, or without any of them. I mean, honestly, but he talked about, it was one of those things that as everybody left, it was they went on to do other stuff, and then Howard Stern, I don't know. Do you remember when Howard Stern went on his apology tour about a decade ago?
Not really.
Yeah, when he got on, was it the America's Got Talent or whatever it was?
Right, yeah.
He basically went on an apology tour, and he's been on it ever since.
Yeah.
And Matt, the Joke Man basically has said multiple times, he's like, look, Howard Stern always wanted to be where he's at right now, but he always felt like he was on the outside looking in, was never taken seriously. People, they wouldn't let him into these circles that he wanted to be in, and now he's there, and he'll do anything to stay there.
Yeah.
And it's like that. Yeah, I mean, I know in the last few years, some of the stuff that he's done, like when he's come out and he's like made comments and stuff, I'm like, who is this person? This is not the same Howard Stern that,
Well, it started when he went to XM Sirius.
Yeah.
And I called this back in college. Do you remember this class?
I remember, because that was right around the time it was happening. It was in 2004.
Because
we were there, I know.
XM Sirius was, big, and Howard was still on broadcast radio.
Mm-hmm.
And
he got the huge deal. It was like, what, $100 million or something like that.
It was even before that happened.
Right.
We had to do presentations for Mr. E's class. And I did one on shock jocks.
Right.
And there was always a Q&A afterwards, and Mr. E flat out goes, what happens to, if Howard takes the deal with XM Sirius, what do you think happens?
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I think his popularity drops
clean
off the map, because he's no longer held within the constraints of fighting with the FCC. And that's what his whole show was built off of, was fighting with the FCC and seeing how far he could push that boundary before getting smacked with fines and everything from the FCC. I said, once he goes to Sirius, where he can do whatever he wants to, nobody cares anymore.
Exactly. And that was
that's what happened.
That was also the fact of, we never had Howard Stern around here.
No.
And that doesn't bother me, because I never really found him that funny. I did watch his E! Show, from time to time.
You could catch him on the radio if you went north of here.
Yeah.
Sometimes, like if you were traveling.
Whenever I was traveling and I would run across him, I was always like, I just don't find him that funny.
No.
Like, he'll do something that's funny, and then it might be an hour before there's anything else that's interesting.
Yeah.
And so I was never been a big Howard Stern fan, So when he went over to Sirius, it was kind of one of those things. I'm like, how many people are actually going to pay to listen to Howard Stern? And that's what Sirius was betting on. It was
XM at that point.
Was it? I thought it was Sirius.
He went to XM, if I remember.
Was it?
Right.
Okay. I thought he had gone to, and then they merged later.
Yeah, Sirius bought XM.
And so it was kind of one of those, like, who's going to pay for this? Just for Howard Stern.
Yeah.
And I guess he probably had his legion of people, that would. I don't know if that ever actually worked out as well for them as they thought it was going to.
No.
That was kind of the deal. It's like you're going to take something that's off the radio for free and put it on something.
Or you got to pay for it like a cable subscription.
Right. And people are probably not, I don't have any of that now. At one point, I was working at a place where we had Sirius XM.
Yeah.
And it was kind of neat, because I can just turn on this channel. I can just hear all the stuff from the 90s or all the stuff from the 80s or one particular genre of music or whatever, and it was...
It's one of those things where I know if I'm going to be traveling, I'll sign up for it for like a month.
Because it's good that you can listen to it all the way across.
Listen to it, wherever you're going.
Right.
And then once I'm done with my trip, I cancel it.
Yeah.
Or I'll use it for, they always do the holiday, previews. To where on like major holidays they turn on Sirius XM for any radio that's got
the receiver.
It's got it.
Yeah.
Well, my truck has it.
Yeah.
So when it's like 4th of July, I'll turn it on XM and I'll listen to it. During that, and usually it's on like Lithium or Ozzy's Boneyard or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know, and that's when I was working for Saturn. They were doing a big deal trying to get people to sign up for it. So we used to have it like up in what we called the bubble, like where we would sit, and everything. Yeah. And we were always listening to this or that or whatever, And it is what it is.
It'd be nice to have like during college football, because I can actually listen to like the Kentucky games from
there is that
their announcers, where I don't have to listen to the other garbage announcers that are usually calling the game.
Anyway, that was probably the most interesting. That one, of course, then they got an opening in Anthony. I didn't realize all the stuff with that.
I still don't know what the story behind that is.
Man, they what's his name? Was it Opie? Like
I don't know,
he's had all kinds of problems, man. It just...
I know when he got fired or left or whatever, he started his own podcast or something, and doing a radio show.
Every once in a while will just do something that just kind of sets everybody on, and it's like, all right, well, I guess that's the hill you're going to die on, Yeah. But, just the whole shock jock thing, like they even had like Man Cow on it, and different. Yeah, they had several other people on there, and just talking about shock jocks in general, and it's like, it is what it is. I never listened to any of them.
Yeah.
I don't, whatever. Well, the other episodes,
honestly, radio's kind of dead. I mean,
there's a lot of that.
The free streaming services have kind of killed radio. Mm-hmm. And honestly, in my opinion, what killed radio was the fact that the advertising department basically took over what was getting played.
Yeah.
Because it was all in, what's our ratings? What's the music that'll get our ratings up to where we can sell more? Or advertising, how do we sell more advertising? Mm-hmm. It wasn't about, the radio, actual music.
Oh, I know.
Or it wasn't about the personalities. And then, all the radio stations are owned by, 3 companies now?
Something like that.
It's Sirius Radio, iHeartRadio, which is also
it's
Cumulus. That's it. It's Cumulus. It's iHeartRadio, which is actually Clear Channel.
Right.
And then there's like a couple regionals that own everything else.
Yeah. And
it all sounds the same. Like if you have a 10 something point something The Rock in your town, I guarantee you the DJs on those stations are like 4 or 5 people, and one of them live here in Nashville with Joe Elvis.
Joe Elvis, yep.
Because we were running through Knoxville one day, and there's Joe Elvis on their version of The Rock.
Oh, I know. Yeah, and he's been doing that for 20 years or so, and good for him that he got the gig, that's...
If you're not familiar with Joe Elvis, go look up a little band called Government Cheese. He was the drummer for them for a very long time.
I think they're still playing shows.
I think they've got a new album coming. Just put out a new album or something like that.
Something like that. I haven't really paid attention to them in recent years as much. Anyways, this dark side whole universe that they've got on Vice, the Dark Side of the Ring stuff, which obviously is about wrestling, has been really good. Like, wrestling's always been a shading industry, and so it's kind of one of those where they, they really they expanded it out first to Dark Side of Football, and you get a few things here and there, but a lot of it is like, there's really nothing dark about this. A lot of they might profile somebody, like I know they like one of the first episodes they profiled Chad Johnson,
Yeah.
Okay. And it's like, well, but there's nothing really dark about that, other than the fact that he was just this outrageous receiver, or whatever. They talked about, I think, bounty or
They do Mike Vick.
I think they might have talked about. I don't know. I was really kind of underwhelmed with the stories they went with. Whereas like a lot of this stuff is really, it's been well tread to begin with, but it's really not that dark.
Yeah.
Then they started doing. They did Dark Side of the 90s. I had a problem with that with that series.
Okay.
They've had 2 seasons of it. In that sometimes they will hit on something that like they talked about like Waco, and a couple things like I get that, but then they did some revisionist history on some stuff.
Oh, of course they did.
That I was like, wait a second.
It's on Vice.
I know, and I was like, wait a second. And then they did Dark Side of Comedy. And that show was pretty good for the most part, but they also did some revisionist history.
Of course they did.
And I was like, I don't know about this. So when they started doing the Dark Side of the 2000s, I'm like, all right, why don't, rather than calling these things Dark Side, why don't they just call it something else? You know, because like one of the episodes they did early on was about TRL. Okay, well, there's nothing about TRL that's quote unquote dark side. I mean, it was just like basically it was just them talking about, when TRL was big, and this and that or whatever. It was just kind of like they did get a little bit into the whole like, there was the record labels were manipulating a lot of it.
What? No.
Oh, I know exactly.
Payola happening.
I know.
Videos.
But they were talked about how like they were manipulating not only that, they were just manipulating the call-ins and stuff, where they would have people that were legitimately calling in requesting stuff to get stuff on on TRL.
Record companies doing
I know.
under the table deals to screw with people?
Yeah, I know. So it was one of those things where it's like there's a story here, but I don't necessarily know that it's dark. You know, like the Johnny Cake Plus 8, that one gets a little rough. They did one about The Bachelor, and some of that stuff gets a little rough even,
Wasn't there somebody murdered connected with The Bachelor? Like one of them went nuts.
No, that was a show. No, that was a show on VH1. It was a spinoff of Rock of Love.
Okay.
That it was I forget what it was, one of the girls that had been on there, and then one of the guys that was wound up killing somebody. Yeah. And they wound up pulling it and never. I think it was Daisy of Love or something like that. I don't remember what it was.
I remember something like that happened with Sally Jesse Raphael or Ricky Lake or something like that.
With The Bachelor, there have been a couple of people that were associated with the show who have committed suicide.
Oh,
and that kind of stuff where it's like, oh yeah, and then they kind of get into the whole like, with some of the problems that they had, behind the scenes. With they really ply a lot of people with alcohol, and this and that.
You mean like what was that? Destruction of the something of Civilization Part 2.
Oh yeah, the Decline of Western Civilization. With the guy from Wasp. That's like,
where they were literally handing him alcohol and
Chris Holmes.
Yeah,
it was yeah.
Here, sit in the swimming pool and drink way too much vodka and talk to us.
I know.
It's like,
but it's, just different stuff like that. Some of the episodes are good. Some of them are not so good. I'm kind of looking forward to this next season of Dark Side of Comedy.
The other thing I've been watching here lately is what have you been watching? On Ahsoka, which hasn't been bad.
But has it been good? Exactly.
Actually, I've enjoyed it. I'll be honest with you. I enjoyed it. It's nowhere. It is not Secret Invasion. Secret Invasion was garbage.
Mm-hmm.
But Ahsoka has been pretty good. I've enjoyed watching Ahsoka.
I have not watched a single second of Ahsoka.
I know, because you got rid of Disney Plus.
And not just be that, but because I'm done with all that stuff. Now, the thing that intrigued me about Ahsoka.
Yeah.
that still kind of intrigues me about Ahsoka is that it's basically a direct sequel to Rebels.
Yes, it is.
I liked Rebels.
Yes, it is. Chopper's there.
Chopper is there.
Yeah, Chopper's there. Hera's there.
Yeah, I know.
I can't. Why can't I think of the Mandalorian?
I know. I can't remember her name either.
Siri? No.
It's
yeah,
not,
Siri.
Is it Siri? Is that her name?
I don't remember.
That's what I started to say was Siri. And I know that
and they're
Thrawn,
bringing in what?
Oh, you said Siri.
Shut up, robot. Thrawn has not shown up
is
yet.
supposed to come back. I know.
There's rumblings of Thrawn. You're starting to bring in the witch sisters from. I can't think of the planet.
I know they have talked about what's his name. Ezra.
Well, Ezra disappeared with Thrawn. So yeah,
at the end of Rebels, all that happened. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know that and it's like I've been intrigued by that.
And the actress
then
that's doing Hera is actually married to Ewan McGregor.
Mary Elizabeth Winstead? Yeah. I didn't know she was married to Ewan McGregor. I like Mary Elizabeth Winstead. When I heard that she was playing Hera, I was like, all right, that might be interested. But I just,
Yeah.
I have not watched any of it. I probably will not going to. I have a real problem with what Disney is doing with Star Wars.
I understand that.
And so...
And some of it's good and some of it's not so good.
Much like so many other things now that I am no longer...
But
I am no longer...
Dave Filoni has complete control of this one.
Yeah.
And Filoni's done some really nice stuff.
Well, the complaint that I'm hearing about this... Two complaints that I'm hearing about it. And yes, this is coming secondhand. Okay?
Here come the fanboys.
Now, one of them is what happens at the end of episode 1.
Okay.
Because for those of you that don't know, Siri gets run through with a lightsaber.
Yeah.
And then she lives.
Well, where she gets run through with a lightsaber, she would.
But let's be honest. Anytime that we ever saw anybody get run through or hit with a lightsaber, like whatever, up until the Disney stuff, that was a death sentence. Or you were going to lose a limb or something like that.
Yeah.
Whatever. Okay. We have seen multiple people get run through with lightsabers and live since Disney's taken over Star Wars. And I'm like, I don't like that. That is...
Okay.
That... It completely... negates everything that happened under Lucas.
Okay.
The other thing is that, and this is a theory that I've heard.
Okay.
Filoni, he's supposed to be doing a movie, a Star Wars movie that's going to wrap up all the Disney Plus stuff.
Yeah.
The theory has been that Ahsoka is basically setting up for that movie. And that you're only going to see Thrawn in the very end of the last episode, and it's all going to be like, and now go see the movie.
I don't hate the idea.
Yeah, but I can tell you that myself, I'm not going to see another Disney Star Wars movie. So
because I'll just wait until it hits Disney Plus and watch it.
I mean, that's fine, but
I don't go to the movie theater anymore.
Yeah.
I legitimately wait for it to hit the stream. Like I just watched Flash last night finally.
Yeah,
because it finally hit HBO Max.
Yeah, I care less about that.
It was okay. I enjoyed the Keating Batman being back.
That's when you have a movie about the Flash and the whole thing is bringing back 89 Batman is what everybody's talking about. That kind of tells you everything you need to know about the movie.
Well, I mean, they tried to do Flashpoint and they didn't do it.
I know. And I know that what's his name shows up at the end of it.
Yeah, Clooney.
As Superman.
Nicolas Cage. Nick Cage. Yeah, we got a glimpse of the Nick Cage Superman movie.
Yeah. Yeah, that they bring back all these. I'm like, all right, that's fine, but
well, I mean, they set up the DC multiverse.
Yeah,
they screw up Flashpoint.
Mm-hmm. That's all been the DCU or DC universe. I mean, has all kind of been that.
You're seeing you're seeing the last remnants of the Snyderverse in DC, and who knows what we're going to get with Gunn.
The Batman was really good. I really enjoyed that movie, and I like that it kind of sits outside of everything.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where I am with all that now. You know, like, I really love Joker because it sits outside of everything.
Yeah. But that's actually not even a DC.
But the thing is it sits outside of all of that. And then the Batman sits outside of all of the DC, cinematic universe. And
honestly, the DC TV shows were like Green Arrow was good. The Flash was good.
I really enjoyed Gotham. Up until the end of it. And then
I couldn't get into Gotham. I tried. It just didn't do it. I finally caught up on The Rookie.
Oh, the Nathan Fillion.
Nathan Fillion. I enjoy that show. And I'm going back and I'm rewatching Justified with Timothy Oliphant.
Right.
Because they've come out with a new series.
Yeah, I knew they were doing
with
that.
Justified. And I kind of want to get caught up before.
Have they announced when they're going to release the last of Yellowstone?
No, they haven't. And I don't know that they will at this point with the fight between.
I know.
What's his name and Costner.
I know.
And both of them are kind of acting like. I put the blame more on Costner than I do.
Yeah,
what's his name?
Yeah, Ty Sheridan.
Yeah, Sheridan. Yeah,
and
because it's Sheridan's story to tell, and Costner's interfering.
I gotta admit that the first half of this last season, I really didn't like as much. It was like I was really in on.
I really liked 1882 or 83.
1883
with Tim McGraw and Faith Hill. Believe it or not, I really enjoyed that one.
There was that, and what was it? 1923.
Yeah, I it's okay. I'm enjoying it when I don't have to look at Harrison Ford.
Okay,
screw that guy.
Yeah, I don't know. I have enjoyed Yellowstone up until this current season, and then I'm just kind of like, I don't know. I'm hoping that they do something, I'm still waiting for
I'm okay with them killing off Costner at this point and letting Tyler Sheridan have his story back.
I'm hoping I want to see was it the 4-6 Ranch or whatever it is.
Oh, it's the 4-6s.
Yeah, I want to see that.
I want to see that.
I know they've been
also
talking about it for a while. That's the one I will watch if they.
I like that character. I do
too.
I like his story arc so far. And it'd be interesting to see where that goes. Mm-hmm. And I think it's supposed to come out at some point, but who knows?
I don't know. That's I don't. It's. I know
I knew we were in trouble with Yellowstone when they took 1923 off of the Paramount Plus platform and actually started airing it on Paramount to kind of take the place of where Yellowstone used to be.
Right. Yeah.
It's like, I don't know. I don't think Yellowstone's coming back.
We'll see. I mean, it could, it may be one of those things that I don't know. We'll see. There's, we're here at the 1st of September, and, usually you start talking about the new television season, this and that, whatever, but there's nothing that I've seen that's even remotely appealing to me.
No, not really.
And that's, I used to watch probably way too much television, to be honest.
Yeah.
But I've gotten to the point now where, I don't watch a lot of television.
There's not a lot worth watching.
There's really not. And it's like, Yellowstone was one of those shows that it had been on the air for a few seasons before somebody's like, no, I forget who it may have been.
It was me.
You really need to watch this.
You need to watch this.
And so I started watching. I was like, oh, wow, I'm really enjoying this. Yeah. And so, I've been with it for, the last couple of years, but it's just, there's just not a lot of stuff that comes out that usually what will happen, somebody will say, like Mayans, okay? Because I watched all of, Sons of Anarchy. I started watching Mayans, and I don't think I made it through the first season.
It did not turn out as well as Sons of Anarchy.
And I think
those characters were not redeemable at all. Yeah,
well, I think a lot.
Angel was the only one that was redeemable in that show, and the rest of them were just greaseballs.
I think the thing for Mayans for me is that there was too much time between. Now,
could be right.
Now the thing is that I didn't watch Sons of Anarchy until it had been off the air for a little while.
Kurt Sutter getting fired from Mayans. It's his show. It's his creation. Yeah. And then Fox fires him from his own show because of something he said. And you can tell when he got fired. Elgin James did what he could with the show, but it just didn't have that Sutter touch to it.
Yeah.
And honestly, I take it back. There were 3 characters that were absolutely redeemable. Angel was one. And then there were 2 club members. One of them was the sergeant at arms, the big guy whose mom was, he was taking care of his mom. And then there was the one who was just a brother who was, ends up, he's from the same army group that CM Punk's character was in.
Like I said,
I can't remember the characters.
I literally watched, I think, the first 3 or 4 episodes of when it first premiered, and then I was done after that.
But the rest of the characters, there was nothing redeemable about them. And part of Sons of Anarchy is, they were broken and flawed and terrible people, but there was some aspect that could have made them redeemable at some point, and it just didn't feel like that.
Some of them.
Yeah. Oh, and the original character from Mayans, the guy who was actually the president of the Mayans, was in the Mayan show. He was redeemable.
Yeah,
I feel like he gets redeemed a little bit at the end because in the end he ends up quitting the club and taking care of his family instead of taking care of his club. So
the club is family. What are you talking about? Yeah, I just. I don't know.
We finished watching the final episodes of the Henry Cavill Witcher.
Oh yeah,
on Netflix.
Yeah.
Of course, Cavill's not connected to Witcher anymore, which is a mistake because he is that character. But he's in talks with somebody of rebooting the Highlander series.
Yeah, I heard something about that,
and that's interesting to me.
I like Henry Cavill.
I do too.
Of everybody that I've seen play Superman,
yeah.
He's the one that I've liked the most,
Yeah.
No, and no offense to Brandon Routh. He just didn't have... He looked the part, but he just didn't personify the part, And, you can go through, Dean Cain, like whatever, But Henry Cavill seems to be the one that kind of...
He's the only one that I can stand... You know how I feel about Superman.
Yeah,
the big Boy Scout.
I don't care for Superman.
Don't care for Superman. I like that Superman. If Cavill's doing Superman, it's watchable for me.
Right.
I can deal with that character because that character's got a little darkness to him, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah,
the Boy Scout's got a little dirt on him.
I know that's something that a lot of people didn't like was the way that Man of Steel ended. With him killing Zod and everything, and it's like. What do you do in that situation, though? That's kind of I know Superman generally doesn't do that type of stuff, but this is a different Superman.
Oh, we're not going to put him in the 2D dimension with the big piece of glass floating in space.
I know.
I like that Superman because he's got a little dirt on him.
Right. I don't know.
But Cavill's kind of like the geek's geek also. I mean, have you seen the YouTube videos of him building his own computers?
I know. That's kind of endeared him to a lot of people.
Yeah.
He's kind of a nerd. But as far as just television in general, I don't hear about much that people tell me, oh, you need to watch this anymore. It just really and truly, all I really hear anymore is people complaining about stuff. And I'm like, well, why do I want, if somebody doesn't, if everybody's complaining about this thing, then, I am not generally someone, if someone says, oh, this is terrible, that I'll just stay away from it. Unless it's somebody that I really trust. You're I'm kind of line up on, whatever. But,
which means you never hardly ever watch anything I tell you to watch because we don't.
We have those. There is a Venn diagram of stuff that we overlap on.
Occasionally.
We just have different tastes and stuff. And that's it, that.
And look,
it's nothing wrong with that because it's one of those things that sometimes, you will say, hey, check this out. And then I'm really surprised later.
Yeah.
Or sometimes you say, hey, check this out. And I'm like, really, Dave? Really that you thought this was good? But I do the same thing, there are plenty of things that I like that you just
the OC.
You'll never get on board with the OC.
No.
And it's
never.
fine, whatever. But and then we had Chuck, where we both were like, oh yeah, I love that show.
I mean, let's be honest. It's going to get a lot worse before it gets better with the writer's strike and the actor's strike. And now they're bringing the video game systems.
They're trying to.
Yeah, trying to.
They're trying to. Did you hear about that? About them letting The Walking Dead cross the line?
What?
Okay, The Walking Dead finished last year, I guess it was, or whatever. But there
it finished long before they finished shooting.
No joke. But there were spinoff stuff, and apparently they've made some kind of.
You talking about the one that's in New York with Negan and
Maggie? But they've made some kind of concession to let them cross the picket line to film, and I'm like, how do you? I mean, if you're so on board with this strike, personally. Let them keep striking. I'd love to see Hollywood burn to the ground. I mean, just because...
maybe we'll get something new for a change. Maybe somebody will do something creative and give us something new.
Something new and something good on top of it all, rather than remakes and...
Or maybe the future is podcasting.
Well,
wouldn't that be nice?
It would be. Sometimes, I'll be honest... even with podcasts, I've fallen off with quite a few of them over the last few months, and
I'm down to like 2 or 3.
I still have quite a few, but some podcasts that I've listened to for a long time, the quality has just fallen off. Or they're not putting out episodes the way they were before, where it's further in between.
That sounds like a podcast I know. Quality's dropped off, not putting out episodes.
Well, but no, what I'm talking about...
that's our podcast.
Yeah.
That's our podcast.
Well, could be.
Yeah.
But just, I don't know. I think with podcasting... is that we haven't quite hit... Well, I think we're almost at saturation point with it, to be honest.
Could be.
And once you hit saturation point on anything, there's going to be a big drop-off in quality.
Yeah.
Because, it kind of goes back to that whole, the Ian Malcolm of it all, you were more concerned with whether or not you could do something and you didn't ask whether you should do it, And... and this is coming from somebody like, honestly, my credentials are not exactly the best when it comes to you've got so much expertise in this that to be able to do something like this. But it's still one of those things where I've listened to a lot of podcasts that are popular that the quality is just not good. I'm like, I don't understand why this is popular. Like, I don't understand this,
There's some that you've had me listen to.
Yeah.
That the content was good, but because of the way it sounded,
the sound,
I could not listen to it.
Or
it was hard to listen to, or it gave me a headache.
Yeah. And the sound quality has a lot to do with it.
Yeah.
Also, I think sometimes not everybody who sits behind a microphone should be behind a microphone.
Hi, my name's Dave.
Well, and what I mean by that is that you start hearing a lot of redundancy.
Hi, my name's Dave.
And I'm not just talking about of stuff that goes from episode to episode.
Yeah, I know.
As many podcasts as I have listened to at certain times, where I like a lot of them that I would listen to during the course of a week or something like that, I would hear the same things on multiple episodes. They're almost verbatim.
I'm gonna call us out. We've done it.
Yeah, but I'm talking about like something I hear on podcast A, I will hear on podcast J and M.
Yeah.
Almost verbatim. Of like, wow, how did this? What's the cross pollination here? What is it? Type stuff.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, there have been some times where I've caught myself kind of parroting certain things that I've had to like really watch. And usually that will happen whenever I listen to a lot of other podcasts.
Yeah.
So it's kind of one of those things that I noticed that way back in the Cinegeek days, like, because I was, I would find myself saying stuff that I heard on other podcasts, and I was like, wait a second, no, this is not
That's not your original
It's not
thought.
mine. It's not, and I get it. There are sometimes, when you're talking about the same subjects, that certain things are going to be said that are identical because that's just the way that it is. But you don't need to be parroting other people's ideas.
Yeah.
Like their thoughts about, what they think about something. So
it's funny because, for a long time, I followed a lot of other Gen X, podcasts, listen to see what they were talking about and all that. It was funny because I would see us do an episode, and like 3 or 4 episodes later, I'd see them talking about exactly the same thing that we just talked about. And I'm like,
well, but you're going to get that.
We're going to get that because we're
Gen
all
X.
Gen
Right,
X. We're all have the same touchstone.
Exactly.
But at the same time, some of them, it was like,
this was a little. Yeah, I get that. And even just pop culture in general.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that we're that popular because we've got.
Because believe me, we're not.
Hey, I want to thank all 3 listeners for tuning in this week.
We our numbers have been a little slow through the summer, but we see that every summer though.
Yeah.
And usually they pick up around this time of year, and so I'm like, all right,
because people know OctoberFest.
Well, there's that. I also think it's
you've also
people are on vacation. They've got kids are out of school. You got to get whatever it is. There's this and that. There's all kinds of stuff that happens during the summer that's a little more distracting than it would be the rest of the year. I get that. Maybe whatever it is, and the same thing. Excuse me, happens for me because I know, man. My because I don't know if I've talked about it on here a lot, but like the custody situation has changed a little bit with my son, so I have him a lot more now, and it's one of those where, well, that takes up a lot of my time, so I can't a lot of times do the research that I would have other weeks.
Yeah.
Or I might not, or even with being a dad and working and working a couple of jobs, and then just trying to get stuff together. Sometimes it gets a little difficult.
And trying to find time for us to get together.
Exactly, and
my job.
And
stuff I've got going on.
And but that's just life, and so it can sometimes be a little daunting to try to put this show together. And I try, I try really hard.
Yeah.
We had especially with a couple episodes ago, when we did one of our rambling episodes, that show wasn't supposed to happen.
No, I got lucky because I got off work early.
Yeah. And also the fact I got sick, I had a issue where I got.
Yeah, I made him record from the bathroom.
Yeah, something like that. But it was one of those things where originally there was something else that was supposed to be going on that evening.
Yeah.
And I had to cancel because I was like, I just don't feel up to it. But I felt good enough to sit behind a microphone and ramble for an hour.
With the door closed. Nowhere near me.
So, but yeah, it was just kind of one of those, that kind of stuff happens. It's life. And, I'm really looking forward to OctoberFest this year because, it just felt, I know it's a little warm right now. It warmed back up, but man, there was about a week where it was just I was like, man, this feels so much like fall and just like going.
We're about to get 2 weeks of rain.
Yeah, but it's going to be cool after that, which is going to be nice.
I hope so.
And we are. I absolutely love this. Going back to our comfort food episode, talking about this time of year being comfort food. Man, it's right around the corner. You can feel it, and it's been, especially I guess it was 2 weeks ago when it dropped off, and I remember walking outside one morning to let Biscuit out, and it was like 60 degrees outside.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, this is wonderful. This is so wonderful. Or even in the evening, walking outside, and I'm just gonna sit out here for a while, and I'm just gonna sit out here and enjoy this weather, because I knew it was gonna get hot again, because it always does.
Yeah.
But guys, thank you. I know we have rambled for quite a while.
Yeah, because your topic sucked.
Yeah.
We got 25 minutes of the movie.
Didn't even exactly see you put anything out there. So
okay, guilty. So, yeah. But I did manage to derail us enough to fill up the rest of the time.
Well, hey, yeah, I know. We talked for 20 minutes.
That's my talent.
It's funny. We talked for 20 minutes about the movie, and then we talked for another hour about everything else. So.
That's my talent. Derailment of ideas.
But yeah, guys, go and check out our Discord. Check out all of the our social media, it's all in the show notes, especially Discord. I'm trying to get back over there more.
I've noticed.
And it kind of I really like Discord.
I do too.
I really like Discord.
When I'm able to get over there and do stuff.
And that's kind of the thing is I've, over the last almost 2 years, have really been trying to get away from social media as much as possible.
Yeah.
And Discord is not 100% social media, but it's close enough to where I will get over there.
It's more of a community.
It really is. And it's one of those things we'll get over there and post about this or that or whatever, and kind of discussions will start here and there and that kind of stuff. But then, kind of stuff will happen and I won't get back over there as often as I would like to. And
the guys and the girls in the Discord kind of talk amongst themselves too.
Yeah.
It's self-sustaining.
It really is. So, but yeah.
And I'll be honest, about the only thing I use Facebook for anymore is like one group that I'm part of and Marketplace.
Marketplace is the only thing about Facebook that I miss. That's the only thing that I miss about Facebook.
That's how I found my motorcycle.
I know. And I need to get over it. I guess still got to find a car. So
I found several 1970s Cadillacs for you.
I am not getting another 1970s Cadillacs.
That's your jam, man.
No, it's not. That's my dad's jam. I don't know what you're talking about. The only reason, Dad, he owned 3 different Cadillacs that all were a mile long.
I found one that was at least 2 city blocks long.
No, I'm good.
It fits you, man.
No,
we could even get you like an Apple box to sit on.
So, but yeah. Anyways, guys, go check out Discord if you haven't already. Check out all of our other social media.
It's in the show notes.
It's in the show notes, including Dave's Big Dave X or Xpod or whatever.
I have my own Instagram over there, which I need to start posting more on.
And we will be back. I don't know how many weeks are there in September this year?
I don't know, but we've got a lot of recording to do.
We really, well, you know what?
And I got to work next Saturday.
We'll figure it out. So yeah, won't be long before especially after this, won't be all that long before we're into OctoberFest. And we've got some cool stuff.
So go get your pumpkins.
Go on there, get your pumpkins. Go check out all of the my son keeps asking me, how long before Halloween?
Get your candy corn ready.
Yeah. Believe me, dude, I found Halloween candy, like mid part of August.
No, I found it in July.
Really?
I found some in July.
Because I know, because I walked into Dollar General, and they already had candy.
They almost always have it first.
Yeah.
Dollar General almost always has like a end cap that pops up at the end of July.
It was just like, wow, and I went ahead and bought.
And it's usually like Brock's or Reese's or something like that.
Yeah, they
usually where I get my autumn mix first.
They're the only place. Yeah, I end up buying a thing of pumpkins from them.
Yeah,
but I also bought because they're the only place I've been able to find in the last few years that sell the little the peanut butter candies that I like. The ones that everybody else hates, the little peanut butter toffee,
Oh,
yeah,
the ones that crumble up and stick in your teeth.
Yeah,
the texture's just awful.
There you go, either like the black or the orange wrappers. Yeah, I love those things. But they're the only place that carries them any longer. And the thing is that the bag you get is like tiny now.
Yeah.
Like it's like, and even the candy themselves are small. Like they're not the same.
Yeah,
it sucks. So yeah. Woo-hoo, Halloween's coming.
It's coming. It's coming. That's the most exciting part of this podcast so far.
It really kind of is. So, all right, guys. Well, we will see you next time for the Project Genx podcast. I am Alan Smith.
I'm the other guy, Big Dave.
And it took us a little while, but we're finally getting out of this.
Woo! Dinner?
Yes.
All right, guys. We'll see you. Get that off my foot. Friggin' biscuit. It's like, why can't I get any traction in here?
Dog hair. Yeah.
There's a small poodle stuck in the bottom of my shoe.
Yeah.
Of dog hair.
Dude, couple nights ago, I let Biscuit out, and he went running around the side of the house and went around. And so I'm standing out there in my front yard. Like,
your deer problem again?
3 deer came flying through the front yard. I mean, just flying up through and went up. And luckily, Biscuit didn't see him, of course, and he would have taken off after him.
Yeah.
He tried that one time before to get anywhere close to the deer because the deer is just so much faster than him, But I'm just like, I'm so happy he didn't see them because he would have been gone. He was just chasing the deer.